So I'm here at the Business Analysis Conference Europe 2022, and I've managed to track down Jamie Toyne, who is founder of Herd Consulting. You may well have seen him on social media, or indeed his company. And later on in the conference, he's talking about how we can tackle the business analysis skills shortage, which is a topic that I'm sure is very dear to many of our hearts. So Jamie, thanks for agreeing to have a bit of a chat.
No, thanks for inviting me, Adrian. Great to be here.
Fantastic. So you're talking about the business analysis skills shortage. Have you any idea how big that is and what the impact of it is on the BA and change community?
Yeah, I think, to be honest, there's various different pieces of studies that have been done. One personally I did most recently, BA Manager Forum, asking 50 of the top UK's BA leaders was how are they finding recruiting? How are they finding looking for experienced business analysts? And 3/4 of that top 50 actually said they were struggling. They were finding it hard. They were finding it tiring.
Wow, 3/4.
3/4 representing some of the largest practices in the UK, and that wasn't just for one particular proficiency level or set of expertise. That was across the board, whether it was experienced mid-levels, senior practitioners, lead business analysts. It was tough across the board, and it wasn't bound by geography either.
That's really interesting. And so what kind of impact do you think that's having on change projects and, product development and so on?
Huge. I think the presentation touches on the world. Imagine a world without business analysts.
Oh, I don't want to imagine that.
We don't want to imagine that. No, luckily we only touched on it for a few moments in the presentation. But I think there's a lot of teams out there that don't have business analysts in them right now, and we can all imagine how scary that is.
Yeah.
It means obviously in organisations where there are a group or practice of business analysts, those are being fought quite hardly over to go on my particular product or my particular project, depending what it is they're working on.
Yeah, and it's always scary, isn't it, when the business analysis is being done, but might not be being done well, because the person doing it might, through no fault of their own, might be just lumped in on it and having to sort of pick up with what they can. I suppose a logical question to ask next is why? It's a really tricky one to answer, but why has this happened?
Yeah, I think this is where, this is more based on, I guess, experience and anecdotal research from conversations. But there's four big things that I believe are the triggers, and I'll touch on two of those to start off with. I guess the other two, that's come along later on to find out.
Fantastic.
But the two of those are caused by, macro factors. So Brexit in the UK is a big impact, meaning organisations have got huge challenge in trying to find skills from outside the UK. We'll not get involved in the politics of that. I think that's something of a day. But also at the same time, organisations have to go through huge amounts of change to deal with different regulations that have come up and different things in how they target or fulfil the requirements of their customers outside the UK.
Yeah.
And the second thing is COVID.
Yes.
COVID has had such a huge impact on all sorts of digital professionals and change professionals, and not just business analysts. But from a business analyst perspective, what it's meaning is that organisations more than ever are needing to shift to their consumers, shifting appetite to consume digital services, to do things more digitally, to do things, whether it's over an app or a website, and their expectations are increasing.
Yeah.
Massively increasing.
It's really interesting, Jamie. As you were talking there, I was thinking, and this just shows the BAE mindset, I was thinking of techniques like either pestle or steeple. Right, it's the external business environment, but for us as analysts, that is affecting what we do. And isn't that interesting that we should perhaps use our own techniques on our own discipline?
You're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I think to be honest, those sort of macro view of business analysis, whether it be Catwell or Pestle or whatever else, I think have probably never been more needed.
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess a really tough question to ask, but I'm going to ask it, is how do we solve this, right? And I had a sneaky peek look at your slides. I know you talk about, I think it's awareness, attraction, and retention, and I wondered if you could elaborate a bit on those.
Yeah. So I think. For me, that's how I've broken it down conceptually in my mind in terms of awareness. We need to make sure people know what business analysis is. How many people do we individually or collectively know, with all the people here at the conference today over the next couple of days? How many people do we know that are maybe in education at the moment that are wanting to be a business analyst. They probably don't know what one is. So I think there's something around awareness there. Attraction, obviously we're all competing for the best minds, whether that be business analysis, whether that be product management, whether that be software engineering, and whether that be the non-digital and non-change professions as well.
Yeah.
So we need to think, how can we attract people in, whether that be people from education or people who are career changers. And then retention, I guess, is really an expansion of the previous point, which is how do we retain those people, those great minds in our profession?
Yeah.
And how do we ensure we've got clear career pathways? How do we ensure we're empowering them, investing in them, so they feel like they've got somewhere to grow?
I love that. I love that analogy. It's almost like a pipeline, isn't it? It's like get people in the funnel and then keep them in the funnel. Make sure they're having a really fulfilling career while they're there. So, okay. So if you were to boil your presentation down to a 30-second takeaway, which is such an unfair question to ask, but what would that 30-second takeaway be?
Oof. Tough question, Adrian.
Yeah, I know.
I'm only 2 coffees in as well. Maybe come back on after the third question. I think for me, one of the main takeaway I'd like people to come away from the session is actually we've all got a part to play. So both individually and as organisations, we're all seeing this. And whether you're a leader of a BA, BA practice, or a CIO or CDIO or CEO, or whether you're a business analyst working in a team, we're all being impacted by it in different ways. We've all got a part to play to solve it.
Yeah.
And I think we need to do more about championing what we do and being advocates for what we do, but not just in the profession and not just with digital and change professionals, but broader.
Absolutely. That, as you said, that macro outward-looking view. So I know it's still like early on in the conference, but are there any themes or particular takeaways that have resonated with you more generally at the conference so far?
I think one thing, we had the guest speaker this morning, was absolutely brilliant, Petra. But one of the things that came off the back of that was it seems like over half, if not 60%, or I don't know the exact figure, but at least half people here at the conference are new first time. They're newbies.
Yeah, I know, right?
Which is amazing. And I think so good to meet people that may be seen on social media or been on webinars with, but actually meet them in person.
Yeah.
So I think that's one of the, I guess, things that's hit me so far.
Yeah.
And the second thing is, what a great lineup of speakers this year.
Oh, fantastic. And topics, and absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah. It's tough to pick. It really is tough to pick.
It really, really is. Well, Jamie, I'm sure people who have tuned in will want to know more about yourself, Herd Consulting. They'll want to get in touch and follow you. What's the best way for people to get in touch and follow?
Good question. LinkedIn is generally the best for me, or Twitter. So you can either get me on my individual Jamie Toyne handles, or you can get in touch via Herd Consulting. Either of those are fine.
Fantastic. Well, Jamie, thank you for taking time out to have a chat today.
Great to be here. Thanks, Adrian.
Fantastic. Well, if you enjoyed that interview, do be sure to subscribe. We'll be getting as many interviews as we can while we're here at the conference. So be sure to subscribe so that you see all of them, and follow us on social media. But bye for now.